giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. You hear it. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Oh, we back. We feeling good. We got Cowboys minicamp recap. There's no storm. And we got our guy Patrik No Seat Walker joining us here in a few minutes for the scientific method, man. What's good with you guys? In the roundup. A little bad news, I guess. I don't know if you want to call it that, but we could be looking at the final moments for one of the Cowboys greats. We'll briefly touch on that, and then we'll get right into the goods with our guy Pat. He's going to take us inside of the Cowboys minicamp from top to bottom, from top moments and other in-depth analysis that he saw on the field. What's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
Like I said, I'm feeling much better, as you guys can probably hear. You know, I'm about 90%, a little something. That's cool, as long as I can do this. But Tuesday, was it today? Thursday? Right? Yeah, Tuesday. Boy, that was the worst of it. And then Wednesday, I was going to push through, and another storm came. So it's just been a weird last 2 weeks. Plus, you got the slow period coming, so the schedule could be altered anyway. But my apologies for the last 2 days, Cowboys Nation. But we back. We're going to finish this week off strong, and we're starting it off with our guy Patrik No Seat Walker. Let's jump right into this roundup, though, because I got Pat coming on in a few minutes, and I do want to discuss this specific topic with him, but also with y'all a little bit, you know? Let's do it.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. A lot has went on over the last few days that have been out. And one of the things, we lost a legend on this earth here in Larry Allen. Rest in peace to one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion, the greatest offensive lineman of all time. It was tough seeing it. I was out and I saw the message, and I'm like, damn. It's like every year Cowboys lose a great player in their history. So that sucked. One of the guys who was trying to carry that mantle for Larry Allen as one of the best guards in Cowboys history was Zach Martin. And I think he's done it very well. He's going to go down as one of the greatest guards to ever play this game. I think a first ballot Hall of Famer, shoe-in for the Ring of Honor. Hopefully his name is next to one of the greats in Larry Allen. But it's coming closer to the end, which honestly shouldn't shock anybody. Zach Martin hinted at retirement the other day, saying, quote, "I think I'd be lying if I said it was not entered my mind. I think that's been a big thing for me this year. Just try to tell myself, hey, go out there and do your thing and let anything else take care of itself. I don't know when I'll be done, but it's definitely getting closer to the end. I think it's a good reminder for myself to stay in the present and take advantage of this year." Zach Martin's entering his last year, his final year in that rework deal they did last offseason. And he admitted, as we could see too, that last year he did not play up to his standards. He also said missing camp likely did not help with that. He said, quote, "I felt like last year you roll in a couple weeks before the season and you're just trying to play catch up. I need to get in the right conditioning shape. I need to get work with the guys I'm playing next to. And he agreed with Nick Bosa, who said that he was out of sync from missing camp with his holdout, and it played a factor in his slow start. Well, the president, he won't be missing any camp this year, and I expect him to bounce back for sure. I expect him to I say bounce back. He still was a good player. He just wasn't up to his standards. I expect him to get back to his standard of football. But will it be his last year? And is his replacement already on the roster? Well, Cowboys Nation, I say to both of those things, yes. I do believe this is it for Zach Martin for the Cowboys. Maybe something happens and he pulls a Tyron Smith and plays elsewhere, but it really sounds like this could be it for Zach. And I do think one way or another, his replacement is on the roster. But I want to put a pin in that because I want to wrap the Pat, No C Walker of DallasCowboys.com in this week's version of the Scientific Method. Good morning, good brother. How you doing, bro?
Tip of the cap to you, my friend. How goes it?
Man, it's going well. We're covering a bit. We don't have any storms today, thankfully, so I'm not going to complain, bro.
Man, please tell me you didn't just jinx it because we've had enough. Enough is enough.
Bro,
enough.
I feel like I'm living in Seattle.
Sunshine.
You know, I feel like I'm in Seattle with all this rain every day. And then we know in the summer we're going to go through a ridiculous drought.
Yeah, of course. It's going, right on schedule. It's going to happen. And it's funny because we're sitting here saying how tired we are of the rain, which is justified considering how much rain we've been getting. But when we don't get that rain in a few weeks and that sun is absolutely bullying us and stuffing us into a locker, for the next 2 months, we're going to want that rain. But, hey, that's how it goes, right?
You ain't lying. I'm not going to complain about it, just like I'm not going to complain about any type of Cowboys news or nuggets we can get because the slow period is here, Pat, unfortunately. And we'll try to get through it as best we can.
Yeah, here we are, 6 weeks or so before Cowboys depart for training camp in Oxnard. The expected date of travel is going to be July 22nd. First practice will be held as early as July 23rd. It's going to be the longest training camp held in Oxnard in franchise history. I believe the longest training camp in Cowboys franchise history. We will be out there with the team for 31 consecutive days. So when you hear Micah Parsons say things like it's going to be a long time in Oxnard for, to work out any chemistry things or whatever, that's what he means. I mean, it's going to be a month plus out there straight. So going to be a lot of work getting done.
Well, one of the guys that'll be joining this year is Zach Martin. And we were talking about him prior to you coming on here. And, he mentioned, and I think you wrote an article about it as well, how this could be closer to the end for one Zach Martin. And I had put out not 2 questions, but 2 statements. I guess 2 questions. Is this the last year for Zach and is his replacement on the roster? I think yes to both of those. But what say you, Pat?
Well, first of all, I'm glad that everyone is finally on this frequency and having this conversation because it's something that a topic that I broached back in early to mid-February, and ever since then, whenever the offensive line is brought up, I've always over the past several months kind of talked about the post-Zach Martin era. What's the post-Zach Martin plan? And of course, because it's such an uncomfortable conversation for even some analysts to have, let alone for Cowboys fans to have, nobody really wanted to latch on to that until here recently when our good friend Michael Gelkin asked Zach about it, and Zach basically said, well, it's not 100% certain that he'll be retiring in 2025, but he basically intimated that it is on the table. So here we are, folks. Thanks and welcome to the conversation. Zach Martin, I believe he hangs it up in 2025, and here's my thought process on it. He's about to be 34 if he's not 34 already. And although he's been one of the most durable players in the history of the league, at the same time, that catches up with him. So you're starting to see over the past 2 or 3 seasons some of his injuries start to kind of crop up that are very un-Zach Martin-esque. And I think that that's only going to continue as he gets to his mid-30s and late 40s. And I don't think that he's going to play into late 30s. I don't think he's going to play into his late 30s. I think that if the Cowboys can somehow figure out how to break the drought, we talk about droughts, 30 years, break this drought and get to and win the Super Bowl, then of course you want to go out on that high note, right? That's Jordan over Russell with the Pogues in Utah. That's how Zach Martin wants to go out. However, if the Cowboys, I do believe the Cowboys make the playoffs at minimum. If they make the playoffs and there's another unceremonious exit or exit period, I think it's going to be so mentally defeating. Zach Martin calls it a career anyway, because if you look back to his body language following the loss to the Packers, if you go back and look at his body language just over the past 2 playoff exits,
49ers.
He's been really mentally exhausted with the whole, we did all of this to get here, and here we are again not getting the job done. So I think whether the Cowboys win a Super Bowl and send him out on top or have an unceremonious playoff exit, I think either way Zach Martin is going to go ahead and hang it up. So that's why I said in my tweet, I think it's now or never.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the offensive linemen, we don't really get a chance to really see how they are down at camp. We know what Zach is, but there's a lot of other these young guys we would like to see get some work in, but no pads, so you really can't get a gauge. However, 7-on-7s, the skilled players, wide receivers, DBs, linebackers, quarterbacks, you get a chance to see some things. And you guys in the media highlighted a few plays over the last few days, including, obviously, you, where you brought up what I guess would be the back and forth of the day. You talked about the defense getting the best of the O's and the O getting the best of the defense. Can you take us on the field of what happened yesterday?
Oh, that was so much fun. Really quickly, something else came to mind I want to bring up for Cowboys fans. Keep in mind Zach Martin's contract. Yep. Okay, so Zach Martin, you referenced that he was not at the start of training camp last year. He got a new contract, but that new contract was basically to give him a pay raise, not necessarily to extend him. So next year he's going into a contract year. So I just don't see that there's another contract that he negotiates. So I think the contractuals come into play as well. Now, moving over to minicamp yesterday. So there was a lot to be taken away positively. But those 7-on-7s, it felt so much like training camp that I caught myself smiling, like after each big play. One play in particular, and if anyone knows the orientation of the field, outside at the Star in Frisco, you have a near side, a far side. So first big play was near side, 7-on-7, first team. Dak Prescott, he drops back. I couldn't make out who he was targeting in the middle flat, but I couldn't make out who made that play. Eric Kendricks, he almost lays out completely. He swipes the ball in the air, creates a tip drill. It goes to the back of the end zone. A bunch of traffic out of nowhere comes Super Dono. I mean, he flew in like the son of Cal, the son of L, just horizontal, gets the interception. Eric Kendricks, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, they all clear out the sideline. Like everybody on the defense is celebrating. They're running past Dak Prescott, pointing, talking their trash. But wait, there's more. Not so fast, my friend. Very next play, also from about the 15-yard line, so it was red zone, 7-on-7. Dak Prescott drops back. Coverage is just stout, right? Deron Bland is where he needs to be. Jordan Lewis is where he needs to be. Where's that going? Out of nowhere, Brandon Cooks streaking across the back of the end zone. There was a pinhole-sized window for Dak to put that ball through, and damn it, he did. And Brandon Cooks in stride, back of the end zone, through like 3 defenders' hands, touchdown. Brandon Cooks, Dak Prescott, they start going crazy. The receivers, the offense on the sideline starts going crazy. Dak's looking at the defense, looking at Dono, looking at Eric Kendricks, puts both of his arms in the air, basically to say, where you at now? And it just went back and forth from there. So it was a very training camp feel yesterday at minicamp.
Man, you love to hear that because, like I said, you really can't do much. Micah talked about this. A lot of players talk about it. You can't touch these guys or anything like that. But to hear that there's that competitive nature already, I feel like it's setting the stage for training camp.
Agreed, and I brought that to Dak's attention yesterday in his post-practice interview. I asked him, I said, hey, big plays being made in 7-on-7s, but Equally as important was the big energy after each play from both sides of the ball, the big celebrations, the kind of trash talk. And I said, how key is it and how good does it feel to have that training camp energy as early as mid-June before you go into the slow period, which should help. Obviously, you guys hit the ground running in Oxnard, and he was like, it's fantastic to see that kind of intensity. And keep in mind, and Dak Prescott reiterated this yesterday, he's one of the biggest, trash talkers on the team. So he's egging a lot of this. He's egging a lot of this on. He wants to see it. He wants to get it. And then, of course, you have that on the other side of the ball as well. And then now come to find out, go figure, Eric Kendricks is a trash talker as well. So this is going to be real fun going forward.
Hey, to put a microscope, pun intended, on that play or a specific player, Eric Kendricks, man, they call him EK, I noticed. But Eric Kendricks, when he got signed, Pat, we all talked about how I think he's going to help the run defense. I think he's going to help the front seven in general. And one of the things that kind of went under the radar was, hey, let's not forget that EK, like I said, as they call him, was also at one point one of, if not regarded as the best cover linebacker in football. So when I hear this play being made, that gets me excited because LVE, I think he was okay in coverage. I think there was a point in time when he was really good, then the injuries caught up to him. His size helped.
He was younger.
When he was younger. He's 6'5". He did really good in that drop back Tampa 2 stuff under Rod Marinelli. And at time to time, Dan would do it. But I just think Eric.
Yeah, just ask Philadelphia. They know.
Yeah. I think he got a pick on him. Was it last year?
He did. No, it wasn't last year.
2
but
years ago.
Yeah.
In his rookie year.
So, in his rookie year, yeah.
But Eric Kendricks, we saw it firsthand in 2019 when he covered, Zeke out the backfield, shut that down. We saw it a few times last year in coverage, actually against Dallas. He had some good coverage plays in LA. But I feel like that part of his game is so underrated, and we don't talk about it a lot because we're trying to fix the run defense. But if he can kind of be maybe not who he once was, but who he once was just one time, meaning one season, I'm okay with that from a coverage standpoint, and it's such an underrated aspect to his game.
Well, based upon what I'm seeing thus far, and let's put an asterisk on that because it's mini camp and the real work starts in training camp. But what I'm seeing is his quickness is reminiscent of his All-Pro season. And his mental acuity, the football IQ is always going to be there. So the instinct is always going to be there. He's always been one of the most instinctual linebackers in the NFL. So that's not going to change. The only thing that changes with age is the physical ability.
Right.
But his physical ability looks as crisp as I've seen it look. Now, again, we'll put an asterisk on that because we'll see when he gets to training camp and you have those more intense practices and it's not just 7-on-7s and it's full contact, it's 11-on-11. Let's see how that looks. But thus far, the way he's moving in conjunction with his play recognition, in conjunction with the reunion with Zimmer, indicates largely that this could be a very, very strong season for Eric Kendricks. But to your point, or I should say, and to your point, particularly in coverage, because I believe it's a foregone conclusion that Eric Kendricks is going to, number one, be a leader for this team, for this defense. That's why he's going to be the green dot, I believe. And he's also going to help in run defense. I think those two things are foregone conclusions. I think, like you said, the question was, physically, as he ages, can he still cover like he used to cover? That play and a couple of other ones I saw yesterday when he was tasked with actually covering the flat, when he was tasked with shading a tight end or making life difficult for a slot receiver trying to get an in route, that looked damn good. There's no other way for me to put it. It just looked damn good, and it bodes well for not only the Cowboys linebacker core, but also for a young guy like Maris Newfile, who's coming in and he's going to use his versatility and his ability to cover. He gets to kind of mirror what Kendricks is doing. A guy like DeMarvion Overshown, who we know plays sideline to sideline, and he can cover extremely well as well. And now he gets to kind of learn from Eric Kendricks and those coverage tendencies and cues and what to look for. And what does that mean as far as maybe shortening the both learning curve of a redshirt rookie and DeMarvion Overshown, but also a guy who's coming back off of an ACL who the Cowboys need to kind of hit the ground running, but realistically don't know if that'll be week 1, week 4, week 6. So all things considered, just the presence of Eric Kendricks and how he can also help these linebackers acclimate to Mike Zimmer, I just think it's the most valuable addition. Now, granted, they didn't have many, but I'm talking about draft picks as well.
Right.
He's the most valuable addition by far in this Cowboys free agency.
Sounds like he's one of a handful of guys that stood out, not just to you, but to other observers down there. And as we kind of transition into some of the standouts, I do want to start off with one of the young bucks that you tweeted about, one of the rookies, Ryan Flournoy. You tweeted this yesterday, and I'm just going to read part of it. You said, I'm going to go ahead and say I believe Ryan Flournoy is going to turn heads in Oxnard. The plays he's making thus far largely hint at it. Can you take us down on the field on what you saw with Ryan Flournoy yesterday?
So the thing with whether it be obviously rookie minicamp, but also OTAs, and then a good part of minicamp is it's like Mike McCarthy said, a lot of this prior to training camp is structured to lean toward rookies and putting more and more on their plate and an emphasis on their development and, getting them comfortable with installs and things like that. I say that to say I've had a keen eye on all of the rookies, even through minicamp as recently as yesterday. Kept an eye on some of the veterans, but I was really keyed in on the rookies. Ryan Flournoy has been consistent in how he has impressed me. First time I saw him on the field, it was his size. Yeah. Second time I saw him running reps, it was the efficiency and quickness of his route running out of his breaks. I was not expecting that because when you look at someone who's a true X receiver, who has the same physical build more or less as Michael Gallup, you would expect that the route running will need refinement, okay? And I'm not saying it doesn't need refinement on Flournoy. I'm saying that he's already ahead of where I thought that he would be. And the way he gets in and out of his breaks makes it difficult for even the stickiest of cornerbacks. Kalen Carson, for example. I'm very high on Kalen Carson. And Kalen Carson has been performing very well as well thus far in the offseason program. Very sticky, no diddy. Very physical at the line of scrimmage. Just a difficult guy to get space on. And Flournoy gets space on him pretty easily. That is not saying Carson is not doing his job because what did I just say? Carson is doing very well, but Flournoy is just raw athleticism, quickness, speed, and then on top of that, when he did what he did yesterday, like I put in the tweet, you add that to everything I'm saying, and it's like, how can he not turn heads if he continues this trajectory? And what I'm referring to is a particular play was far side. This is why I referenced near side versus far side earlier. Far side of the field, so I couldn't make out who the defensive back was that he did this on. Couldn't make out the number, but it was second team, 7-on-7. It was a third team. It was a Trey Lance ball. And here you have things getting muddy. It was from the 10-yard line, goal line defense, so things get muddy in the end zone. Flournoy runs his route. It was like a double step quick fade. Doesn't get enough space because there's not enough space to be had and there's traffic. But Trey high points the ball where only one person can get it, which is his receiver. Flournoy elevates while spinning in midair, high points it, very Dez Bryant-ish, very Michael Gallup-ish, but his momentum, because of the speed that he came out of the break, his momentum is taking him quickly out of bounds. Contorts in midair, stares down at the grass, gets both toes down, offense goes crazy. If he can do that is what they need in the absence of Michael Gallup. That's what's going to make it challenging for Jalen Tolbert to definitely go in and get a guaranteed WR3, which also goes to say Jalen Brooks, he's going to make it difficult. Jalen Cropper, he's going to make it difficult. You're going to have these guys. Corey Crooms, keep an eye on that undrafted guy. He's been making, my eyebrow raise a couple times like The Rock, the final boss. So Ryan Flournoy, in a wide receivers room that is flooded with bodies. And you have veterans like Kevontae Turpin, who I keep telling everybody, Kevontae Turpin might steal the show, not as a returner in Oxnard, as a receiver. So, but even with that level of competition, it's hard for me right now to draw a line through Ryan Flournoy and automatically coordinate Jalen Tolbert or Jalen Brooks or Kevontae Turpin, WR3, WR4. I don't know that if Ryan Flournoy continues how he is doing, I don't know how you justify him not being on this roster because his trajectory combined with his athleticism it's out of here.
I mentioned about Flournoy, just the athleticism alone and playmaking ability alone is worth development. Even if he's not quite ready to be, have a major role in 2024, you have to put some legitimate development into this kid because he's super athletic and he has the right headspace and mindset. It's worth it. And we've seen McCarthy throughout the years do that, have guys like that who may have not hit right away, but he took some time. I'll talk about all his receivers, really. James Jones. I always forget the white one. Jordy Nelson. There we go. Jordy
Nelson. Now,
Jordy Nelson.
I had to just laugh at first. That's racist.
I know. I did it on purpose because there's a fan that thinks I'm like that. I'm like, you're crazy, man. But all those receivers, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, James Jones, they all take time to develop. And I will put some time into Ryan Flournoy. And I think this wide receiver 3, competition is going to be heated come training camp.
100%. And also added point when it comes to Ryan Flournoy is, keep in mind what I'm saying about his footwork and his ability to get in and out of his breaks. His route tree is more than just a 9 route. It's more than just a go route. It's more than just a 10 and in, and try to get some yak thereafter with his physicality. Can he do those things? Absolutely he can. Look at his measurables. Go look at his film. He can absolutely do those things. But it looks like he can also run some very, very good routes. And if that turns out to be true, it looks like it can be. If it turns out to be true, now guess what? Maybe he can get some slot work as well. This increases his value to be able to play in all 3 positions. And that combined with the fact that when I spoke to the young man in rookie minicamp, one of the main things he pointed out was not only that he's trying to mirror his game after Jerry Rice, which I have no qualms with, but he also mentioned unprovoked how important special teams play is going to be for him. So he also has that in mind as well, trying to make himself extremely valuable for Bones Fossil and special teams. He's coming in, he's ready to work, and that's going to be incomparable it's going to be priceless as far as what he can possibly be for the Cowboys. But I do, number one, I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat in the ring. I feel like he's going to make the roster. We'll see who he might cost the job there. But I do think that you'll see him on offense at some point in his rookie season. I don't know to what degree. I'm not saying it's going to be a breakout season. I'm not saying anything of that nature. I'm saying whether it be 5 snaps, 10 snaps, 3 snaps, I just think he finds his way onto the field because I think that, number one, his athleticism is just something that can't be denied. And then if he continues to develop as training camp goes along, as preseason goes along, I mean, how are you going to keep this young man off the field?
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Flournoy, a.k.a. Des Bryant. Pat Nosey Walker.
See, this is why I can't go there with you people.
Y'all better not hold my man to that. Y'all better not hold my man to that. We got Patrik Nosey Walker, DallasCowboys.com, joining us on this week's version of the Scientific Method. Pat, we saw the return of the Lion, Micah Parsons, and some media and fans had a whole lot of fun twisting and turning his sit down with you guys, right? And we'll probably get into some of it.
Nauseous from all that, running all those circles, man. They were just
goodness.
sitting there spinning everything.
I mean, how are they not dizzy? I don't know. But
I don't know. Dreidel. Like, all right.
I think
spin it there.
On a serious note, I think there was something on field related. He said that was largely overshadowed by all the other hoopla, which really wasn't hoopla if you listen to the interview. But anyway, it was overshadowed. And I'm gonna play this small clip here, and I want to discuss it with you a little bit. And it was regarding Micah's usage under a Mike Zimmer.
It'll be fun, and I think it's going to be unique. There's a lot of similarities on things, how he used me with how Dan used me in the system. But he has more twists and turns of how he's going to set things up. And also, there's some things that I got to get used to, too.
Oh, he talked about twisting and turning. He says similarities to how Dan used him, but twist and turns in the process. And that latter part definitely sounds like Mike Zimmer. He loves to disguise things. And it also sounds like, he knows he'll have to, and he's receptive to learning new things in how he'll be used. I feel like that is way more important than all the other stuff that, was put out there, is that we are going to see Micah potentially, sounds like, moved around a lot more. Is that something, I know it was brief, only a few practices, it was there. Did you see him kind of lined up in that short amount of time that you were there?
Yeah, they moved him around a little bit, and like you said, it's mini camp, and it was only two practices that he has been there that we've had availability for. But he has moved around a bit. But I can tell you that as far as the agenda is concerned, the agenda is absolutely the situations as far as the what the opposing offense can and cannot predict. And Mike McCarthy said that on yesterday in the press conference. He said Micah Parsons is a weapon, and in that they don't necessarily want to pigeonhole him to saying he's, a linebacker or he's an edge rusher. He will be whatever they need him to be on any given rep. We saw that last year with Dan Quinn. You saw sometimes he was a zero tech.
So facts. I mean, hand in the dirt, lined up over the center. It was crazy.
Exactly. There those types of instances, and they worked, right? So when you look at, you start following the tea leaves or reading the tea leaves, and you hear Mike McCarthy say things like that, and then with our conversation with Mike Zimmer, he says things like coming into a defense that's already good, wanting to find what works, perfect that, and also fix what doesn't work, which goes to what Micah Parsons was saying a couple of days ago, in that there are going to be some new twists and turns and things like that from Zimmer. But again, in that same soundbite, you heard him say that, or basically intimate that it's not going to be a complete overhaul. Mike Zimmer's coming in. He's going to look at how Dan Quinn used Micah Parsons, and he's going to say, hey, this worked, this worked, this worked. Let's figure out how to tweak these to make these that much more effective. This didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. Scrap those and let me insert what I do into this equation. So, those should have been the main takeaways.
I agree.
But obviously, as much as you love Micah, he kept talking because the cameras were still on, and, maybe, should not have kept talking. But at the same time, the correct takeaway is the one that we're talking about right now, not the whole he's only had one, he's never had a Micah before. Oh, well, that's not a lie. Okay. And that's my thought process. Like, he's not lying, right? And then the whole, we're going to talk, he's going to compromise. Okay, that's just the generational talent talking, knowing his value. But let me tell you, this is the same Mike Zimmer that when we had the conversation a few weeks ago, he said, he's adapted to the way he does things, but, and this is his quote, things have to be done the way I want them done, end quote.
And I think it sounds like he understands that when he said there's things I'm going to have to get used to. But I don't think compromising is some foreign concept with your great players and coaches. He's a unique player. They have to figure out how to compromise certain things. And I think people got it twisted thinking when he said that, he meant like, oh, I'm not playing backer. Look, folks, let me say this for the millionth time. He has no problem playing at linebacker when he needs to play linebacker. He doesn't control that. But there's this narrative out there that he does, and it's completely false.
100% false, much like the narrative that that Micah only cares about Micah. I think that the latter part of that narrative that I just mentioned comes from people's expectations. And if you're expecting him to be the vocal leader that leads in a way that, let's say, Dak Prescott leads or DeMarcus Lawrence leads, you're going to continue to set yourself up for disappointment because that's not who he is, right? Leadership comes in different forms. I said this yesterday on Cowboys Break, and I said it 3 weeks ago when it comes to Micah. Not every elite soldier is designed to be a general.
Facts.
And the more that you try to turn every single elite soldier into a general, it's an exercise in futility. You're just going to keep disappointing yourself because most elite soldiers are just not, number one, they either don't want to be a general, which is completely fine, right? Or they just don't have the ability to do that, to lead in that way. So how do they lead? They lead by example. They lead by production. They lead by, holding the standard on the field, on the battlefield, for lack of a better way to put it, and saying, hey, this is the standard. This is how we need to play. Follow my lead in that way. But if you're talking about you want him to be a locker room leader like Dak Prescott is, DeMarcus Lawrence is, like Leighton Vander Esch was, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So it's much like CeeDee Lamb, right? CeeDee Lamb, no one can argue CeeDee Lamb is the definitive leader of that wide receiver room. I think we can all agree on that. And yet this is the same CeeDee Lamb that had a lot of Cowboys fans up in arms because they didn't like his demeanor on the sideline when things weren't going his way. He shut down. He got quiet. That's how he was processing mentally. But Guess what happened in the next game, and the next game, and the next game? 3 150-yard. See, this is what I mean. Like, leadership comes in different forms. You just need to tweak how you expect any particular person to lead. And I'm going to tell you right now, Micah Parsons is not going to be your Dak Prescott. He's not going to be your DeMarcus Ware. He's going to be your Micah Parsons. Yeah. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the easier your life will be and the more enjoyable your life will be.
Well, there's a target on his back, man, and it was only a matter of time. It happens to most of the players here in Dallas when you don't win the Super Bowl. So hopefully he understands that, and he's able to just push through it and be the great player that he is. And he's a good person too, but people don't really care about that. They hear podcast Parsons and it's get him off the team, so it's kind of wild. But Pat, I know you got to get going.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
And real quick before I head out, because I got to get you.
Yeah, I won't make you late. Don't blame me.
No, I'm good. And I'll add this. I want fans to understand that they are more than justified in being pissed off about lack of Super Bowl success. 100. They are more than justified in looking for someone to blame, in which case I say spread the blame. Don't point at one particular individual because you win as a team, you lose as a team, right? But I will say this. While it's true that we can all be pissed off and demand more and demand accountability and want to see certain things, like example, I wanted Micah Parsons to be present for OTAs. I'm on record as saying that. I wanted him present for voluntary because I felt like with all of the changeover on defense, he needed to get with Zimmer as quickly as possible. So do I like that he wasn't present in voluntary? No, I do not like that. But he didn't miss mandatory and he's not missing training camp. And so grace in that respect, especially considering the fact that last year he didn't show up for voluntary. And, yeah, he didn't. We can talk about how we wanted more from him in the playoff game against the Packers, but this is also a guy who has 40 sacks in his first 50 games, third fastest to that point, even faster than Lawrence Taylor. So, would you give Lawrence Taylor some grace if he said something that you didn't necessarily agree with? If social media was around when LT was playing football, what would that look like?
I mean, when the Cowboys in the 90s,
leave it at that.
We got to go to another team, just the Cowboys.
When Charles Haley was in a Cowboys uniform, Michael Irvin, those guys, what would the world be? Would Twitter be demanding you trade Charles Haley because of some of the things that I will not air out, but were happening then? Michael Irvin as well. And then the same goes for a talent like LT and some of these other generational talents. And I say all that to say, man, we're not talking about the 53rd man on the roster. So stop acting like we're talking about the 53rd man on the roster. And it could be much worse as far as Mike is concerned. His off-the-field demeanor, if the worst thing that pisses you off about his off-the-field demeanor is he has a podcast and he says certain things that you wish he didn't, then I'll take it.
Of course you would.
Because I don't see him getting arrested.
There's a whole lot of things that other players are doing.
I don't see him getting suspended. Yeah, I don't see him getting arrested. I don't see him get suspended.
He ain't beating up nobody. He ain't drunk driving. He ain't hit nobody. He ain't selling coke.
That's what I'm saying. He's not involved in drive-bys.
What are we talking about?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So relax, everybody. Some things he'll say, and we will all laugh because we get good laughs out of Micah. His sound bites, they're funny, right? But then some things he'll say that we cringe. Consider yourself when it comes to that as well. You think everything you say is funny and not cringeworthy? Stop that. The difference is that he can really do what we can't. So let's give that man some grace.
Hey, man, you heard it here first.
On that note, I got to hit this meeting.
Hey, yeah, boy, you better get up out of here, man. Patrik don't see Walker, scientific method, man. Love you, big dog. Peace.
All right, love you.
Ain't finna get me in trouble. Talking about, hey, why you late, Pat? I was on Skywalker Steel Show. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. So we're going to hit a hard transition here. Actually, we're going to reset. Time is it? We got a couple calls. We're going to reset real quick. Take a couple calls. Wrap to y'all in the chat.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
in front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and reach for the sky. Here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
I think it was my man Tuck who said, hey, the lovable lion is no more. He's still the same person, but we all love the lovable. He doesn't march to the beat of everybody else's drum. It's his own drum. It's an extremely innocent one. Not like he out here hitting, running or whatnot. It's over. It's over. It only took 2 seasons. It took 2 seasons. So he just gotta, like a Dak and like a, I don't know if CD has the same vitriol, but anybody else on the team, Mike McCarthy, they just got to get in the postseason and push forward, and then I think everybody be back on it. But until then, the target is on 11-4 and head coach. I think that's where the target's at right now, for sure. Professor O said fans want Micah to be simple. Well, he was. I don't think fans want that no more. He was that lovable lion that everybody loved for being outspoken and not being a robot. Now they want him to be a robot and stop being outspoken. Something that somebody had, I think it was Rome, and I noticed they do this. .com does this. And again, I think I brought this up. I don't know if it was y'all. I think it might have been in private behind the scenes. But what you'll notice is that when they do these interviews, the reporters tweet it out as they're saying, obviously, engagement, clicks, retweets, click my article, all that stuff. I get it. And then they produce it and they drop it later. I don't think there was malicious intent in the situation. I just think this is what they do. So once people went and watched the interview, like, oh, the tone was completely different, and people let up just a little bit. Some people, not everybody. And I urge you to, if you only read the tweets and got all up in arms about it, go watch the interview, man. There's nothing malicious about it. He's just been the same dude he's always been, and it was very accepting, but also, hey, man, I'm looking forward to figuring this thing out, because I personally think it can be special between him and Zim, and how Zim is going to use him. Fans hate Micah for the podcast. Praise guys like Dez and Sam. Yeah, man. It is what it is. Let's wrap to a couple folks. Shouts out to Landlord from Alabama in the building. Landlord used to be, and I said this to somebody the other day. When you start doing content like Landlord's doing or how we do, it's tough to be in everybody's chats and call-in and shows and things like that. But it's dope to see Landlord go from in the chat to call-in to now being one of the guys in the community. So shouts out to our guy, Landlord from Alabama. My guy, man. All right, let's wrap to Marco from Charlotte. What's good,
up,
Marco?
Star?
What's up with you?
How you been, brother?
I've been great, man.
Good,
over this
bless.
cold, so.
I feel you, brother. Yeah. Hey, I was just wondering, what's going on with the Cowboys media talking bad about Parsons? Like, that's got to be the weirdest thing ever. Talk bad about Parsons because he don't show up to
OTAs. He don't show up to OTAs.
Yeah, man. Nobody,
I don't know.
Nobody cares about that. I'm sick of that. And I want to tell Jerry Jones, pay Dak, pay CD, and all of them. I don't want to hear about your money problem. I don't care. Make it work. Make it work. I don't care if you got to write a check under the table. Make it work, bro. We tired of hearing about that. Everybody else seem to be able to pay their players, and the Cowboys can't seem to pay their players. Or they always make a
or they wait. So what I said something the other day. If you're injured, they'll jump, right? They'll jump and get ahead of the situation. If you're not, if you're willing to not set the market, they'll work with you, i.e. Trayvon Diggs. But if you happen to be one of those players, Micah's, the Lambs, and the Daks, who are obviously potentially going to set the market, then that's where they drag their feet. And unfortunately, all they're doing is costing themselves more money. And they could have saved it. That's what I understand. They could have saved a bunch of money on the cap this year by just extending the Lamb alone. This shouldn't even have took this long. But, here we are.
Hey, Scott, I really don't care if they save any money. Why? What kind of team is trying to save money in the NFL? You're making money.
I feel you. What I meant by, I'm sorry, I should use the word cap. They could have saved, cap space so that they can go sign players, because you know what they use, right? Hey, we can't sign these players because, they ain't got the cap and all this. It's even trickled down to Micah. Did you hear Micah the other day? He was like, I understand the business side, reason why we didn't go out and sign players, because if we, sign, CD, that's 3 players. I'm like, oh, damn. Steven Jones ain't got the Micah. So, he got to a lot of fans too.
Yeah, and I want to ask the Cowboys, what are we waiting on to sign Micah? You going to have to pay him regardless. What do we wait on? Why we wait till the year of? And then you come back and get Zach. When you need Zach Warren, he hold out on you and you got to pay him. Like, I just don't understand. Just pay the people, man. If they get hurt, they get hurt. It is what it is. It's football, man. People get hurt in football. Pay the people. Yeah, it's kind of, and I don't want to hear no James Slater talk about Micah Park and my boy to be on with Vach.
Broadus.
Yeah, I don't want to hear Broadus them talk about people don't like Micah. I don't give a damn if you don't like a great player. You don't gotta be liked. I want you to win football. I don't want to be liked. I want you to win football games. I don't care about nothing else. Win the football games.
I think the only people that don't like Micah is most fans. I mean, he's liked in the locker room, man. I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, Scott, what do they talk about in the locker room where going around the building, people don't like him? Who are these people?
I don't know. I haven't heard that, but if that's what's being said, that's them. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Well, Scott, brother, I'm glad you're feeling better, man. I tried to call yesterday. I said, dang, I wanted Scott on. And I called it, and it just went straight to what's the name. But be blessed, brother. I'm going to listen to the rest of the show off the what's the name.
I appreciate you, Margo. Yeah, it's so weird how we go through these ups and downs. We were at one point where I think it might have been Pat who brought up like right kind of. Y'all remember right kind of guy? You remember that? Oh, we need a right kind of guy in here. Nobody wanted choir boys and things like that. And, well, we took chances on some non-choir boys who weren't good on the field. This whole thing is laughable to me because Micah's like, he kind of a choir boy. He don't do anything bad off the field. He a beast on it. But he just say he's a free-flowing guy. Well, what do y'all old heads boomers? What y'all call them, flower childs or something like that, right? You think he might be. He's a down-to-earth, free-flowing guy. And all of a sudden, that's not welcomed anymore. Works his ass off. Is inclusive with his teammates. I don't know, man. This is a strange occurrence because I can understand if it was the what's the cornerback we have? Boss Man Fat. I can understand if you pissed off at Sam Williams. I can understand if it's Tristan Hill who has attitude problems and work ethic questions. I can understand if it's Randy Gregory smoking and not showing up late to meetings and sleeping. I can understand all of that. None of that stuff is happening. So this is kind of a totally unprecedented thing here. In Dallas, and it's I don't know how it happened. I don't know. Bishop Kane, what's good, brother?
Hey man, I'm just listening in, Sky.
Oh, you just listening? My bad, bro. I keep forgetting. Sometimes you listen via the phone, as opposed to.
I'll be I'm like, man, I'm gonna save my little data. I'm just gonna call in and just listen to the show.
Hold on, Bishop Kane. Did you just say I'm gonna save my data?
Hey man, these phone bills are true.
Wait.
Hey, especially you got that family plan, you got to play for girls, shit, my shit.
Time out. All right, this is a genuine question. That's still a thing? I thought everything was unlimited. Like,
man, they say it's unlimited, but it don't be unlimited. They advertise it to you like that, but it really don't be unlimited.
It don't be unlimited?
Man, I'm not bullshitting.
Damn, they said Bishop Kane said, hey, hit me up after 9, dog. I got you with the free minutes. Y'all remember that? I remember don't call me till after 9 on the flip phone with the green screen and the snake. Damn, Bishop Kane. I'm sorry, dog. I'll let you keep listening to the phone so we don't run up your anytime minutes, as Vach would say.
Nah, I just be listening, man. Then I know I'm on the way to work. I ain't trying to throw that. I'll be on the.
All right, bro. I'll let you. All right, my boy. I almost said something else. Look, I'm slipping. Wait a minute. We still don't have everything unlimited? That's crazy. I'm not. Nah, I can't. My job, I obviously am on my phone all dang day. I tell my wife all the time, you kind of working all the time in certain parts of the season because you got news and things that so you're always on Twitter and news and stuff. I have to have unlimited. Have to. But it's not unlimited. That's crazy. Anybody work for any of these phone networks? Lawrence said he not lying? Damn. See, I don't got Verizon. I had to switch Iceberg Q. I had to switch when I came down here because Jerry control everything with this damn AT&T and they make you switch. If you don't charge the phone, it's slower. After 27 gigs, you slow down. Damn, I'm about to start looking at my damn bill now. This is crazy. I pay one same amount every month, unlimited. I just thought everybody pay unlimited. I thought everybody eat chips. You know what I'm saying? Hey. He said, I'm just trying to listen and save data. What? Shouts out to my guy, Bishop K. That's crazy. Let me see. We got a super chat. My bad, Still Them Boys. I thought I saw it pop up here. Still Them Boys.
Super chat.
Drop 5 and said, we don't go after free agents because we draft well, but we don't want to pay the guys we draft when they play good. Make it make sense. Yeah, I mean, they pay him, Bishop Kane. It's pulling teeth to do it. And that's the cause and effect of drafting well. You gotta pay certain guys. To an extent, you can't pay everybody, but you can pay who you want to pay. Prime example, they didn't want to pay Byron Jones. Let him go. Obviously, that worked out. So when it comes to paying their own guys, I don't even really question who they pick and choose. They normally pick right. Sometimes they don't, i.e. Michael Gallup and the Mark Cooper situation. But re-sign Dak. They're going to re-sign CD. Damn, they did go through wait a minute. They went through that 2019 period, though. Zeke Collins and Jalen Smith, that wasn't so fun. But for the most part, they get it right. They just lose the negotiation. They're not going to win all the time. They're not going to get it right all the time, I should say. My issue with them is not paying their own. My issue is, okay, you paid your own, but it ain't enough. It's not. That's been proven. You have to do some other things to get over that hump. Towboat Ty dropped 5 and said, it's unlimited, but after so many gigs, it slows way down. Also, people didn't like what Kyrie said and want him gone. He playing for a ring. Facts. That is fact. But see, Kyrie also grew. And we talked about this Tuesday, maybe, whenever it was, where it talked about the whole leadership thing. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday. I think we forget he's a 24, 25-year-old kid that has it's not his fault, has been thrusted in this role because who the hell is doing it in the locker room? Serious question. And most of what he talked about was being more vocal, making sure that when others are down, my spirit's right so I can make them rise up. That's the version of leadership he was talking about, because no one was doing that. There's nobody in the locker room. There's no what I call Von Miller on this team. That's someone that's been there that can tell you, hey, and I not say team, in that room, because each level, they all deal with them, right? The DBs deal with the DBs, linebackers usually deal with the linebackers, D lineman, quarterbacks, that whole thing. But who's the Von Miller on this team? Right? I mean, you can go deeper than this. This isn't somebody like me. I'm an older brother, played point guard. I had to learn how to lead pretty early. Not a quarterback. He didn't play point guard in basketball. He's not an older brother. He's the youngest. He that doesn't come natural to him. He has to learn to try by fire, and he may never be. So this whole thing is kind of, my opinion, blown out of proportion. A lot of it is blown out of proportion. And everybody forget about it once training camp starts and he gets his sacks or whatever, and then they'll pick back up once we get the postseason. But yeah, man, it's because the offseason's slow. Dallas didn't do anything to make guys excited. The way it ended in Green Bay, all the frustration. It doesn't take much to piss off Cowboys Nation right now, and I totally get that. Totally get that. Twan from Connecticut, what's good, brother?
Sky, what's good, baby? It's been a while.
It has, man. It's like I said, it's been a slow off season, so I don't expect you calling every day, man. But how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm still on the track of I'm not rooting for the Cowboys. I'm not gonna lie. I just hate how they're handling business. Like, how do you let Jefferson get paid first? How, Sky? Answer that question for me.
Well, that's their MO. Jerry flat out came out and said, we're waiting for the other leaves to fall or shake or whatever. Well, the whole tree got dropped on their head. So.
But why? And like how you just shouted out to Landlord earlier, I ain't gonna lie, man. Landlord has been one of the only content creators that's just been keeping it real about the Cowboys. You and Landlord and HTM. You guys, like you guys have been keeping it official. But honestly, like I told you before a couple months ago, I honestly think we're going through a soft rebuild. We're gonna pay CD and we're gonna pay Dak, but I don't think we're gonna pay him until August. And next year we have a whole bunch of free agents. I wanna say we have anywhere between like 20 to like 27 free agents next year. For real. And I personally think we're just going through a soft rebuild, and the only three people we really gonna keep is Micah, Dak, and CD. I don't think Micah's gonna get paid the next year. And I don't also see an issue with what Micah's doing as of now as well. I just want to put that out there.
Well, a couple things there. I feel like there's a lot more than just us three that keep it a bean with the Cowboys. So let me say that.
I feel like everybody else is homeless. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like everybody else are like, oh, and Bossland. But everybody else seems like homers and are just excited for the season and think we're gonna do great. Scott,
Well, let me say this, CT. I think the Cowboys are going to be a playoff team, but then once they get to the playoffs, that's a different story. So if somebody now there's certain fans and creators that be damned Cowboys going to be great. I get that, right? But I do think large majority of our community has been pretty fair this year because there hasn't been a whole lot to just celebrate. So we can't really fake the funk. And if you fake it, it's easy to see. That aside, the soft rebuild thing, I hear that pop up. What's the difference between a soft rebuild and retooling, if I may?
What would you define as retooling? Because at the same
what they do
same
damn
time,
near every year. I feel like every year they retool.
See, I feel like next year won't be like that. To be honest, this is my honest opinion. I feel like Mike won't be here next year. I don't feel like Zimmer will be here next year. I don't have the faith in Zimmer that all the other content creators have. I just honestly don't.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't got the faith. Honestly, that's just my opinion.
That's fair to have that. But the reason why I present that question is because you said they're going to re-sign all those dudes, then I definitely don't think there's any part of a rebuild happening in regards to soft. So when I say retool, they're right now they're retooling the offensive line. Or you can call it rebuilding it, whatever you want. But if you're going to include rebuild, to me, it begins and ends with, do you have a franchise quarterback, number one? So if they do any type of soft rebuild, hard rebuild, whatever you want to call it, it will start right there. If Dak is signed, like you said, extended, ain't no rebuild, bro. It's not happening.
It's going to be a soft rebuild because all we're going to do is really keep our main players we need to keep. That's going to be Trayvon, that's going to be Micah, that's going to be CD, right, and that's going to be Dak. Everybody else is going to be gone.
So essentially, they're going to be doing what they usually do. They keep their main guys.
No, not necessarily, because that's 4 guys they're keeping. Everybody else they're going to get rid of, Scott. Everybody else. And I also think we might go after Bill Belichick, by the way, and that's when I'm gonna really start rooting back for us. To be honest with you.
Now that would not shock me if they went after Bill after what Jerry said, and he just fits exactly what they want to do. Me personally, I hope like hell somebody gets in Jerry's ear and says, that dude in Detroit, that's who you want. Bill Belichick, I get it, but that dude in Detroit, Ben Johnson, is who you want. And I love what Ben Johnson said. He said, look, man, he kept it a bean. He said, I'm not just trying to go to a place to go to a place. I'm playing for that second contract. So, I love that. So he's trying to go to a place where he can be set up for success. And Washington ain't setting him up for no damn success. But you bring back your franchise quarterback, CeeDee Lamb, you got Micah, you got some tools here, revamped offensive line, and that offensive scheme, oh, yeah, he'd be set up for success here.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, Twan. Appreciate the call, good brother.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, let me highlight that about other creators, and there are many I think that have kept it a buck this off season. It's hard to be a homer this year. it's hard, bro. Me and Vach, I tell Vach all the time. Vach is he'll say I'm a homer. Vach can't even be a homer this year. He tell you I can't. What do you want me to do? Our biggest sign is Eric Kendricks and Royce Freeman. So I don't know, man. I'm on a different side of the field with that one, bro. D Schiff, what's good, brother? D Schiff, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
How you doing?
Man, it's all good, man. Just kind of listening into the conversation. It's kind of like Groundhog Day, bro.
I'm sorry, real quick, man. This is the stuff that y'all crazy, man. They should trade Micah before his value decreases from all his talking. See, this is the stuff that, you know what I mean? What be running through y'all heads, man? Jay Recruiter, what is going on through that brain of yours that you want to trade him because he literally is answering questions and has a podcast? Please, I would love for you to call. I'm sorry, D-Shift, to interrupt you here. Call into the show and give me your legitimate reason to trade one of the best players in the National Football League because he talks. How soft do you have to be to do that? You want to give me football reasons, and I don't think there's one, but if you want to give me football reasons, fine. Because he talk? Or how long have you been a fan? Seriously. How long have you been a fan of this team, of all the talkers, or the NFL, of all the talkers? And you're like, let's trade him because he talked. My bad, D-Shit. Go ahead, bro. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing that people need to look into is the fact that this organization doesn't pay people in a timely period to where you can have enough guys to where not counting so much toward the cap. Like everybody has to sign guys, you know what I mean? It's just that other teams are smart enough to sign guys in a way that these guys can line their contracts up. And like the Eagles right now, they got about like 9 people they're about like $10 million toward the cap this year. Whereas opposed to you let Dak's like contract get all swelled up to the point that he's costing you $53 million towards your cap. So, I mean, and they have a $200 million quarterback as well. So it's the way they've structured their business, negotiated it. I mean, if the fact that you see these costing like 17, so whatever you sign him to, you'll actually probably pay about the same, or probably could get a discount. You know,
he'll get a discount. His contract, because it's an extension, so it'll drop down. How much? Who knows? But it'll drop down. And that's why I would have did it last year, because then you would have had that money in the savings on top of the June 1st money you just got. If you wanted to wait till after June 1st to go sign some players.
Yeah, so they're not signing anyone in a timely fashion. Like they could have everything cleared up and they could have signed another guy. I don't know what their game is on that, but that's a big part of it. And you know, I wholeheartedly agree with you in thinking like, yeah, we know it's going to be a playoff team, but you don't do enough work to put the pieces together to see an NFC championship.
Yeah, I ain't making no promises about in the playoff. Right? You can forget all that. For me, it's all about how do we get there and the build up to get there, and then that's where I'll form my opinion. I'm not going crazy over nothing prior to that last like quarter of the season to figure out how we looking.
Man, I have optimism in the offensive line, but that's for like the future. Like right now, you're going to take your lumps because you're talking about going from an all-pro and a guy who's been in the league for 4 years, and you're replacing them with rookies. So regardless of how you feel about,
it might be some ups and downs. It might be some ups and downs for sure. I'm just hoping that the how, and I was almost going to play this Terrence Steele clip, but he talked about how these guys are ahead of where they were last year. Yeah, they're a bit ahead of where they were last year because there was obviously a difference in how Solari was coaching these dudes compared to Philbin, and we saw that on the field. I saw it in Terrence. I saw it in Tyler. You ain't seeing it in Tyron because you can't tell Tyron what to do. Tyron he mastered the position, and I think you saw the effects not just from a physical standpoint but from a technique standpoint. It was tough for Terrence, but he said, "Hey, we're ahead of where we were." I'm also hoping that also means there's a difference in how they do things from a run game standpoint. Because if that is improved, hey man, now we talking.
Yeah, and then I mean also like with the whole leadership thing, man, I don't think there's really a guy that can like corral. Like even when you see guys get the credit for being the leader because their team's successful, like I think you just have like really talented group of guys, and you know you end up having success, and you just guys can't really, you know, to what millionaires are and what the amount of ego in the locker room, like it's impossible to put that on one dude to be like, hey, they got to follow your lead, and especially a 25-year-old. So, I mean, you look at Zeke right now, he seems pretty chill. Him and Dak are like a lot different than, you know, what you saw them as young men. So,
Yes.
You know, the guys like CD and Micah, they just it's just a part of manhood, man. Like nobody's just that stoic.
You're not gonna
25 years old.
You're not gonna wake up and just be a leader if that's not what you were as a person. And like I said, he was never put in that position of leadership in his life. And when he brought it up, he was talking about being more vocal because he noticed, and just throughout the season, especially the playoffs, everybody was just head down and just deflated after the first quarter of that game, and there was nobody really to bring them back, bring their spirits up. So now people took that and like, oh wait, you said you gotta be a leader, so day one you be a leader. It doesn't work that way. You know, if you're not naturally Dak Prescott, you know, it does not work that way.
It just evolved for Dak. You didn't see him coming in talking about being a leader. It's just his personality.
Well,
and with Micah,
he got better at it, but you did see Dak come in and galvanize the organization. But that's who he was, bro. He's been a quarterback his whole life. He literally has a degree in leadership management. So that's something that came natural to Dak Prescott, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's just him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Micah and CD under that, when they're having that discussion and talking about leadership to some degree, you can almost feel the immaturity in that discussion. You know, I can remember being in my 20s and like talking about certain things and from a 20-year-old's perspective. So when you got to talk about leadership from that role, there's still some things they have to learn. So, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's people strong enough to, like I said, take on that role. And, you know, was it Ray Lewis or, you know, was it just a really talented team? So that, you know, want to help them, you know, those Ravens defense and all that. But, yeah, man, appreciate you, bro. Good stuff as always, man.
I appreciate you, man. Good stuff, D-Shift. Yeah, it's trial by fire, man. And he may never be that type. But there's no one there to, I had a conversation with somebody. J-Ron, the journeyman, had a good year and a half. And even he, sometime, definitely last year, what was J-Ron going to tell somebody? You know what, all right, man, let me stop. But you know what J-Ron was famous for last year? Anytime somebody made a play, he go over there. That's what J-Ron was. That's not, D-Law don't do that on the sideline. LV don't do that. Trey don't talk. Trey quiet as hell. Gilly, let's go. You ready? Yeah. Who is it? Serious question. Nobody. So the conversation is brought up because you're like, hey, if ain't nobody gonna do it, then damn it, let me try. Big Cat from New York. What's good, man?
What's going on, bro? What's going on? Listen, Scott. Your boy, these cats sound like they just out here smoking. Cause I got high. I mean, it's crazy. So to make it sound reasonable, right? To make it sound like it makes some sense to your boy you were responding to in the chat. Should I not be a Cowboy because you sound like an idiot? Should I not be a Cowboy fan? Because you sound like you crazy, because we got a lot of our fan base that that sound like this on a regular basis. Come on, man, stop. I don't know, man. It's where they come from.
Mind you,
it's them.
look, I'm not taking no shot. Twan, if you listen to this, is no shot. It's the same dude that says bring back Ezekiel Elliott and trade Michael Parsons.
That's crazy.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Big Cat.
He got special stuff over there. He got rolled up, bro. That's all that is. There's some extra stuff in whatever he doing. So personally, man, I'll be honest with you. I don't feel like anybody is ever made into a leader. You're built, you're born, and you can grow. But how they sound like they want to make Micah a leader. You're never made a leader. You accept a leadership role. You go through a couple of different things where you've grown into the idea of, okay, I need to take this mantle, and this is something that I'm ready to do, or that I prepared myself to do within a litany of understanding. This boy is 2 years in the league. He's 2 years in the league. He's learning. Yeah. He's learning. Say that again.
3 years, but I get your point.
Yeah. I'm just saying play-wise, but he's literally figuring out his life
and
on the run.
Yeah, and finding his voice. Sure.
Yes. He's not. If Micah knew how to shave before he came to the NFL, that could be questionable. Really shave and cut it and get it right, as opposed to going to a barber and having somebody else do it for him. And that's what I think our fan base is getting mixed up. It's the idea of this dude now realizes that he is one of the faces.
Now, I like where you're going with this, Big Cat. I think, like you said, coming in, I think he assumed there was going to be somebody doing all this, and he kind of was just one of the boys, right? One of the guys, and then quickly realized after a few seasons or 3 that I am the guy, and if no one's going to pick up this mantle, I need to do so. But there's going to be, he has to do that through trial and tribulations, because that's not something that came natural to him. And I know the big mantra is that, well, he said it, so he needs to be it. He mentioned also, hey, just because I'm not there at that portion of OTAs doesn't mean I'm not there connecting and building chemistry with my guys, because that's the biggest thing everybody says. Well, he's not helping the young guys or building connections. I mean, it's been disputed over and over again that he builds that relationship not just on the field, but also off the field. But, Twitter world, headlines, clickbait, like that stuff, and then we feed into it, and it goes. What pissed me off is that the stuff that he actually said about on the field, to me, had way more credence than anything else. We completely missed it. Remember, my one question on Tuesday was, or whatever it was where will Micah line up? And nobody gave a damn about what he said about that. And to me, that was the biggest thing.
Yep. And again, we get lost, whether it's because we're Cowboy fans or whether it's because, we're fans in general. Bro, we get lost in a lot of this icing and not worrying about what the cake tastes like.
Come on, man.
The
icing and not the substance.
Come on, bro. Come on,
sweet,
bro.
We're digesting way too much of the sweets, and we decay in our teeth. Getting diabetes.
Yep.
And we not eating enough vegetables. And that's what we here for. And a lot of people, in my opinion, in this community here for, get you the vegetables. Make you a healthy Cowboy fan. If you want to be a diabetic Cowboy fan, there's a lot of that out there you can go get.
There's too much of that out there. That's why we ain't won a damn championship. There's too much of that out there. That diabetic bruh, we be on another
I'm about to get the drop diabetes. That's a ball.
Listen, just saying, man. Listen, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Get some of these fans, man, have them go to the clinic. Come to work on all that. You know what I'm saying? They got medicine for that kind of stuff. All right, bro.
I appreciate you, bro.
All right.
Hey, you're going to have to deal with me. I ain't get to the cough button. in time. I told y'all 90%, just 90. All right, last one. Let me lock this thing up. LA. What's
Oh
good
man,
with
you
big
let
dog?
me in, man. Thanks, brother.
Of course, man. Of course. What's up with you?
Nothing, man. Just wanted to tap in. Congratulate you on your growing show.
Oh, thank you, man. I think you might got me
man.
turned up behind the scenes. I think I can hear me. Yep, I can.
Yeah, somebody. But man, I just ordered me a brand new NT1 5th Gen Rode pod mic.
There we go.
It records in 32 bits. I'm really excited about that. But anyway,
hold on.
Side note, man. So
the pod mic was my first like legitimate mic I was excited about, and then I became
what's up.
Yeah, I became a bit of a mic enthusiast, bro. I have so many microphones, it's ridiculous, and I'm not selling them. I almost gave one to Foots, but Foots got one. But yeah, I love.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
I love microphones, man, and trust me, if I could, I'd switch them out every day. But yeah.
Dude, I'm like all the way down a rabbit hole right now of these Rode mics and being able to interface it with the Rode Connect software and turning cheap USB mics into really good shit.
If you got
it's crazy what you can do with technology.
They have the preamp built into it, man, and you don't have to get any cloud lifter or none of that, man. So the Rode 2 is
when y'all get out to look, when I show you my setup, when y'all come out to Cali this year for training camp, you're gonna be like, Blake, the shit is amazing. I can't wait to shoot with you. I've been putting my little studio together, man. Like, but where I'm going with all that,
yeah,
bro.
go ahead. My bad. We done had our own personal conversation.
No,
go ahead, bro.
Well, we can get a little bit of tech talk. You can diversify a little bit. It's all good, you know. But saying that to say, in the spirit of diversification, I think that we really need to be honest. In lieu of paying CD Lamb top dollar money, I think we need to be really honest that when we tried to spam the Lamb in the playoffs early on, it made the offense look bad, especially because we couldn't protect the A-gap.
Hey.
Right? And you got dudes on the outside getting beat up by folks that we thought we were more talented than, and they showed up, and they physically could play better than us.
They definitely out-physicaled us and were more mentally tough than us, and obviously more prepared, for sure.
So I love the way you just worded that. So what I'm looking forward to this year is BB being right in between two All-Pros. And I heard Tyler Smith say in an interview yesterday, I don't know when it was, it might have been yesterday, but he was like, they're focusing on protecting the A and the B gap. That was music to my ears. We won the offseason. If that's what happens with my two All-Pro guards, that everybody decides that we're not going to have an offensive philosophy that's based on being really fucking diplomatic. You know, Dak is going to go ahead and let his balls drop all the fucking way. We're going to run what we need to run, and we're going to throw it to who we need to throw it to. None of that pouting shit from 88.
Yeah, that's what turned a lot of people off.
Not that he's not a great receiver.
You know, and he had to explain himself, and Pat talked about it too. He mentioned it on the pod actually with Micah, and I think this is legitimate maturity that he has to go through. And again, young player understanding, you're that dude. You can't look dejected like that. I don't care if you got to fake it till you make it, till you understand how to express your emotions on the side. But you can't.
It's called being professional.
Yeah, you can't go stand in the corner, put your hand on your thing. And I know he said, well, that's just how but guess what, man?
Right.
Tober looking at you, man. Flournoy looking at you. Brooks looking at you. Hell, even your quarterback is like, he had to come out and say, bro, if you need to come to me and say, this is what I'm looking,
I need him to be a lot more Marvin Harrison in his demeanor.
Well,
because he's that guy.
Yeah, Harrison. You know, and let me make sure I mince my words right. Marvin, if you're listening, sir, I'm not, this is me with all due respect. Marvin Harrison was stoic. He just, he was just sitting there on the sideline. He didn't look happy or sad. He was just like, I'm here.
Well,
and I'm
just as much
up.
pressure as everybody puts on Dak to be the number one human being of all fucking time. If he's the number one, if he's 88, and he is a great player, but we need him to make sure that he does not turn into a fucking diva, and I feel like he's teeter-tottering on that line.
I hate to break it to you.
When I look at it,
I hate to break it. I can't remember which. Might have been Ocho who said this. All these top wide receivers have diva type of trade. They just are. Okay?
Yeah, that's not true.
Man,
some of them are just assholes. And like Debo's not a diva.
Bro, okay, so Debo.
There's a difference. Is what I'm saying.
Maybe we need to find a new word.
Like Dez wasn't a diva; he was more of an asshole.
Okay, maybe we need to find a new word. Maybe diva is so derogatory now. But bro,
that's fair.
Most of these top end, most, not all, because you got Larry Fitzgerald's and the CJs, right? Calvin John, like there's some dudes who just be quiet like that, and Marvin Harrison, as we said. But most of these type of wide receivers have those type of give me the damn ball type of traits. I don't know if you want to call it diva, assholes, whatever, bro. You can be like that, but still not be so dejected, which can affect the rest of your guys when things aren't. And it was the first quarter.
Bingo.
You didn't need to do that.
Bingo. Right. I knew I wasn't the only one who saw that shit.
There we go. Big egos, if we want to call it that, T-Jack. Yeah, they all got ego. Most of them, man. Most of these dudes have enormous ego.
Well, you can't be a pro athlete and not have that, but you still got to be a professional. Like at the end of the day, just how everybody always want to make a big deal about how the pro athletes are like military operators. You know, I'm a dad. I've been a dad a long time. I will chew people out who are grown-ups in public for doing shit that I teach my kids not to do. You're not going to be a grown man in public and me not tell you that you're doing something wrong. And if you're a grown person and you're doing something wrong and you can't receive correction, we got a problem. So where I'm going with all that is Dak exemplifies whatever's happening in this world of characteristics of good leadership and like really what you look for organizationally, you know. But, you know, I don't know if it's because the Cowboys have so much media access and, you know, everybody all in their business, but they need to find a way to make sure that this training camp, especially with them two new pups on the line, if they circle around them little young boys, and if Guyton physically, he don't got to be so strong. If that motherfucker, he can move, and he's long. You know, if he can, if BB and Guyton if they can physically compete, you know, and not get beat up. If they're just, I think BB got a chance to get in there and instantly we can tag him in and he gonna go in and body slam people. I don't necessarily know that Guyton's there, but
yeah,
you know,
I think
from
BB,
everything that they say, we're gonna be able to compete, and they finally get it. You know, we got A gap Zeke back. We're gonna protect the A and B gap.
I like
you
that.
know,
that's his new damn name, A gap Zeke. I like it.
A-Gap Zeke, maybe. That's all we need him for, A-Gap Zeke. I was watching Hunter Lipke completely close his eyes and fuck up plays last year when they had him at fullback. And I'm like, how you just running blind, you bum? Get him out of there.
Hey, L.A., you on the hinge today. Oh, yeah, he did close his eyes. That was weird. But no, he had some good. He had a couple good first downs too, but he didn't do it.
Man, we just want him to be good. You know, I'm good. Like he can go. I don't need him with a roster spot. Look,
unless he's going to be used much more. I can give a damn about him being on this roster. And I don't dislike him. I think he could be a John Kuhn type if they utilize him that way. If you're not, I am not cutting a receiver, a defensive end, a linebacker, an offensive lineman.
Man, that little boy closed his eyes.
I'm not doing that to keep a dude who
he closed his eyes inside the box. All the great players that I done played with, they do not close their eyes in the box. Dudes who close their eyes in the box.
He got better blocking at the end. He was atrocious at the beginning because he wasn't a blocker at North Dakota State. So if he's not going to be John Kuhn, who got utilized in the run game, pass game, and as a blocker, he's quite literally wasting a roster spot because he had 2 games where he had over 8 snaps last year. I'm not keeping no dude on the team at that position that's going to play 4 or 5
he don't even
snaps.
break the sweat.
Come on, man.
His job is almost as good as the backup quarterback.
It's pointless in 2024. If you unless you're going to be, hey, we're going to run the ball and you're going to use him as the lead blocker. If you're not going to do that majority of the time, and you're not going to throw him the rock, play action, or run it to him, what's the point for a dude getting 5
and
snaps
to be honest with
game?
you, would you be mad just as a football dude, would you be mad if those 8 snaps that he did get was actually Schooner Baker, Boo-Boos, or Fergie out the backfield?
Wow, don't get me started on Schoolmaker. But you mean if he taking Ferg off the field? I'd be pissed if we take Ferg off the field for him.
No. If you leaving, if you taking Lipke off the field and you just giving whatever plays you were going to give to Lipke, give it to Schooney or Fergie.
Yeah, to John Stevens or Brevin, or if Schoon is better, Schoon.
Yeah, just use one of the tight ends. Use the athletes to the tight end room. Yeah. Make the tight end room imposing, and make our A gap and our B gap undeniable. Like, if we go with Shady McCoy gave this rundown of what Jalen Hurts has to do to be successful, and it was the same thing that Dak has to do. And everybody, again,
we're not finna reference Shady though.
Well, because I want to roast him.
Okay,
he's very roastable.
All right,
I got some sketches coming out too, man. You're gonna love them.
All right, man. Tag me.
Drop these joints. Huh?
I said tag me into whatever you drop, bro.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because he's very easily roastable. Because he's a hypocrite, right? So the same thing that he said that Hurts needed to do to be successful, and like, fam, we're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to win the Super Bowl, right? And he was like, he just has to hand the ball off and get the ball to the playmakers and throw the ball less than 30 times a game. I'm like, duh, motherfucker, that's how everybody win the Super Bowl.
Oh, you're talking about Jay?
You know? Right. Because he was like, he's not a traditional quarterback because he can't run the ball. So he doesn't have the pressure.
Hey, LA, but don't even get your blood pressure. I where's my button at? Do I even still have it? We do not care about what Shady got to say, bro, about anything. So don't even get your blood. Appreciate the call, LA. We're gonna talk a little bit more about this, bro.
Amen.
Salute.
Yep.
Yes, sir. And Shady from the, I mean, but boy, he done something else. Hey, let me just put this out there because y'all, I'm lying to you not. There's some dude on here that thinks Sky racist. This dude, bro, what? If they're going to use Hunter Lipke more and correctly, I'm all for him on the team. If they're going to use Hunter Lipke like they used him last year, get the hell out of here. Straight up. Get the hell out of here. I say the same thing for Deuce. Keep straight up. And I'm a short king. If Deuce doesn't have a role and they're trying to find one, he has to go. If they're not going to figure that out, we can't be taking up roster. We need all these roster spots and potential roles. That's all I'm saying. Bro, Jay, I don't know. But the dude, he come on here and he be insinuating. He said, "Oh, I know why you don't like LVE and you like Damone Clark. I know why you don't like Hunter Lipke." I was like, "Sir, say it with your chest. What are you insinuating? Do you want to see the other side of my family?" No, but my mom mixed. She ain't the full blow there, but she mixed. But I got a whole ass white side of the family, dog. Like, what are you talking about? I'll leave it at that. See my wife? Oh man, hilarious. It's people crazy. Those are the ones talking about Sky, the fan base. We better off without. Yeah, man. Yeah, Schooner Baker's wild though. I give him sunscreen. Hey, I tell you something. You know, again, we in overtime now. The only time I've been sunburnt, because I was the ones who thought, oh, well, black folk can't get sunburnt. I don't exist. Was when I was on vacation with the white side. I got sunburned. I was like, okay, what's the number I need? SBP V40? I don't know, man. I don't know what it's called. What I need? SVP 90? PSP 5? What's the number? Help me. This hurt. Hey, Ace, that might get me one of them, Joe. Oh, it's SPF? I thought it was like PSP or something. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know all that stuff, bro. See, look, yo, WD-40, exactly. What is it? I'm seeing all these numbers. Anyway, man. Hey, what an unsuspecting show today. The WD-40 is crazy. I was naive as hell. I said, man, we don't get burnt. What you talking about? Boy, I got back to the house. Took a shower. Couldn't move. Stuff was cracking and peeling. I said, Nikki, what is happening to me? Oh, you got sunburn. I ain't done. I'm going to the supers right now, bro. I said, what do I do now? This ain't never happened to me before. That's why you don't fall asleep out there. I don't like the beach anyway. But
Super chat.
Towboat. Did I get towboat? Okay, yeah, I got towboat already. And then landlord dropped 5. We should just randomly call Schoon different names until he earns our attention. Facts. Schooner Baker is wild though. Yeah, hey, I'm telling you, Toxic, I didn't know what was going on with me. The first time I saw my skin was peeling in my life. It was weird. It's not a joke, bro. Now, I seen a whole bunch of my white friends and family get burnt. My boy Josh, I ain't never seen nobody get as burnt as him, bro. He used to talk about how bad it hurt, and I'm just like, wouldn't know. Would not know. It could just be a light-skinned thing, Rockstar. I don't know. Do dark-skinned folk get sunburnt? It could be. But I won't fall asleep at the beach no more. Anyway, man, fun show. On your way out, please hit the like button if you enjoyed it. We will be back tomorrow. Mailbag Friday. I always love them, but now that we have this new and improved and revamped mailbag, it's always a joy putting these together. So I'll drop that probably right after the show here. And we'll take some of the best questions from across the land. All right. You sure so we don't get burnt? All right. You learn something new every day. You learn something new every day, man. You'll notice when I get the tan out here, it's impossible not to get one in Texas. But burnt, I don't get burnt no more because I don't be outside to get burnt like that. Shoot, when me and my boys go hoop, you got to do it in 10, 15-minute increments in Texas, or you finna die. It is ridiculous. But that's enough of me and everything else. Fun show. I'm gonna press this button and get up out of here.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Make sure y'all tune in. Landlord probably gonna be live. Make sure you go support our guy later. And all the content creators out there keeping it a buck. Okay, so Smoke said he dark and he get burned. I fell for the okie doke. I thought we couldn't. It be like that, bro. Love y'all, man. See y'all tomorrow. Peace. 15-minute sessions, I'm telling you. I be training my son in the summer. And we got like a schedule. Go in, 5-10 minute rest, go back out. It's ridiculous, man. Shouts out to SPF BFD WG 40 or 500.